Well, joining us on the Coach's Corner is head football coach Curt Newsome, E&H class of 1982. Curt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Curt, I wanted to start off by asking you about, the transition to coaching in D3. We all know about your time spent in Division I, and you're about to start your 7th year. So I'm wondering, as you look back, what's been the most surprising thing about the move to Division III for you?
Well, the recruiting's so much different. The process is much later. You're recruiting seniors. When I was in Blacksburg, we were actually recruiting 9th graders, and you have a much longer relationship with them. Here, it's fairly brief. You don't know as much about them. So probably the recruiting aspect, I still enjoy that part of it. It's hard to have great relationships and know exactly who you're bringing in.
Curt, also playing one of these tough conferences in the Division III, the ODAC. And you know what, when I look at the schedule, I always wish there was an easy game in the ODAC, but there never seems to be one. But the competition level in D3 and in the ODAC, I watch all these games. I see all the throws, the catches, the great tackles. I mean, D3 football is some of the best out there, don't you think?
It's very competitive. Our league is extremely competitive. We have much better athletes than I thought we had when I got here. It's a long way from when Curt Newsome played. But we do have many talented athletes that can play at other levels, and they've played for us. It's proven with like Grayson Overstreet, who started at the University of Richmond. Jesse Santiago a couple years ago, of course, was at William and Mary, and they told me he would have played for them if he would have stayed there. So there's guys that can play at about any level that play here, and it's our job to go out and find them, and that would keep you competitive in this league.
Well, Curt, one of the common themes here on Coach's Corner, when I'm interviewing coaches that are also alums, is the pressure that you feel coaching at your alma mater. I mean, you've coached in national championship games, big-time ACC games. What's the pressure like leading your alma mater?
Well, people ask me that quite often. It's not near the pressure you had in Blacksburg or at JMU. Well, I feel like it's more pressure, because I want to win so bad for our alumni, and it's just like homecoming. People used to ask me when I was in Blacksburg or Harrisonburg, when is homecoming? I had no idea. And, it's just another game. Well, homecoming at Emory and Henry is not just another game anymore. It's got a special meaning for me. I get to see guys I went to college with, and it's just every Saturday's a little bit different, having, been to school here and knowing that you just don't want to disappoint the alumni. And, I've never wanted to lose wherever I've been, but you feel that disappointment they feel when you lose at Emory and Henry.
Curt, I wanted to ask you about the sidelines. Like, I run up and down the sidelines shooting video, for highlights and so forth. And I see how intense you are. But, one thing I always regret on that famous homecoming game last year with the Hail Mary ending, does Curt Newsome get excited about good things?
I promise you, I get excited about good things. And that was actually a great thing. I told our coaches, anytime you get to the point where you can't enjoy a win, no matter how pretty or ugly, I don't think they are ugly wins, but you didn't play up to your standards, then you need to get out of it if you can't enjoy it, because this game is still about winning and losing on Saturday. They do keep score. It is in the paper on Sunday morning, and everybody's life is not in the paper on Sunday morning, but ours is definitely up there, and so it is important winning and losing, and never been disappointed with the win, no matter where I've been.
Well, you mentioned your playing days earlier, and one of the things I love asking coaches, so you played defensive line for the Wasps. So Curt Newsome, the coach, give me the scouting report on Curt Newsome, the player.
Well, Curt Newsome, the coach, would not like to coach Curt Newsome, the player. Curt Newsome, the player, was not always as well behaved as he should be. Was kind of hard to deal with in practice. kind of did things his own way. Did play the game physical, or tried to. Not always the cleanest guy out there, and probably I'm harder on guys that behave like that now because of the way I played, and that's not the way it was meant to be. Coach Self let me know that several times, that's not the way we play the game at Emory and Henry. But I would say scrappy. I played defensive line, and I came here at 230, and I graduated at 182. So I was a lot faster at 182. I could get out of people's way. I don't know if I was better or not, but loved my experience here. Changed my life forever. It's very fortunate. I came across the state from the Tidewater area, and didn't know much about Emory and Henry when I got here, and know when I left here that it changed me forever.
And Curt, right now, the time we're living in, we're doing this interview via Zoom. It seems like that's the new normal of our life. I'm wondering how COVID-19 has changed, your kind of preparation for this season. So can you talk a little bit about how you and the coaching staff have handled both things like recruiting and planning for the upcoming season? Because hopefully we're going to be playing football here in not too long.
What we've done is throughout for the last, 2.5, 3 months, we've Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we've met at 10 o'clock in the morning to discuss recruiting, to discuss X's and O's, to discuss our scouting situation. And then every Tuesday, I've met with the team. And then what the coaches, they've met with their individual groups. And now we're in the process. The defensive playbook is being done as we speak. We just finished our offensive playbook. So we've gotten all that done. So, we're a little bit ahead of the game because we didn't go out as far as getting prepared. Now, it put us behind in recruiting. May's a big month for us to go out and gather information, for next year's seniors. And we weren't able to do that. So we've invested in a recruiting service. Hopefully that will help, because we weren't able to do that ourselves. So we know how important it is to get players on campus at game day. Our game day here takes a back seat to no one, and very proud of that. If we can get a young man here on a Saturday during the fall, we've got a great opportunity to recruit him later on, because we ask them to go to other places and see other venues, but we feel like ours is a little bit special.
It is special. Curt, I wanted to ask you one more question with about COVID in particular. One of the things that's been the bright spots of COVID has been the creativity and engagement that we've seen from the coaching staff and teams. And I think the football team gets the award for star power, because you had the former Legion of Boom and Seattle Seahawks star Cam Chancellor do a Zoom talk with the team. Talk a little bit about that and what you hope the team walked away with from that experience.
Well, we've actually, throughout those Tuesday meetings, we've tried to get alumni that have a passion for Emory, and reached out to Cam, because I had recruited Cam, and to see if he would do a Q&A with our football team. We weren't sure that we were going to have enough questions, and I think when he hung up, we had 40 questions to go. We just didn't want to keep him that long. But I knew Cam did things the right way, and I thought he'd be a great role model for our guys to talk to. And he's a very visible guy that all of our guys know who he is. And we talked to him from Seattle, and he's still living there. And it was kind of a highlight. I think we had more participating in our team meeting with Cam online than we have with anyone else. So that's been good. And we've had one of my ex-coaches that's an alumni from here, and then we had Rick Hughes, who's a very successful alum. And so it's been very positive.
Coach, I think the Wasp faithful would really get mad at me if I didn't ask you a question about the upcoming season. So I'm going to ask you, give me that overview and what you're looking at and what we need to do to kind of get over that hump and get that ODAC title.
I think we've got we lost some really good quality. It wasn't a lot of quantity. We've got some holes to fix, but I really like this football team. TJ Tester made second team all conference at running back. And I think Grayson Overstreet is the best running back in this division in the country. I don't think there's any question about that. And we've got some holes to fill up front. We've got a quarterback that's played a lot of football and is a really, really good football player. There's no question he's the best quarterback in this conference. If we can come along up front, that's going to be the key offensively. We lost two really good defensive linemen, and we've got several good ones coming back. But when we lost Davon Keith and Josh Fleener, we lost two good ones. But we've got Caleb Bear, who's going to be a 4-year starter, and Donovan Penix, who's going to be a 4-year starter coming back. We think we recruited well on both sides of the line. Ivan Phillips wouldn't trade for anybody in the league as a linebacker, a special guy. Then we got two corners that we think can shut down people. So we've got some tools in the toolbox. We've got to grow up a little bit on both sides of the ball with the younger guys, and then let our quarterback and our running back and Max Yates has been a great receiver. Gunnar Griffin's been a great receiver. We've got good football players that are good people, and if you get enough of that, you win a lot of football games.
Yep.
So I like where we are.
Do you have a closet full of just unbelievable receivers, Coach? Because I feel like that we keep bringing in guys that just have a knack for finding the ball.
Well, one just left the closet that was pretty special. There's no doubt about it. But and we've got a good quarterback that can distribute. But we've been fortunate at that position, and so feel really good about those guys coming in, and they're great leaders. On top of it, we don't have many seniors. A lot of times that's troublesome. But the seniors we have are special, and I think they'll be great leaders. And I just couldn't be more excited. I just hope we get to play 10 games. I don't know if that'll happen. We're in the process now of hope, finding 10. We feel like we definitely will play 8, and if there's no hiccups. So hopefully we'll end up with 10.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, Curt, as you know, it's like there's nothing great about COVID, and we're trying to make the best out of these situations. And I'm just excited and hopeful that we'll get back out on the field of competition, and that's the plan. And I guess that's what you have to do going forward, is just plan for what you know right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what we've discussed with the players. Hey, all you can do right now is get your body ready. And, hey, we are playing football, and we are reporting in August. And other than that, that's the only thing that we can really affect. And so that's where we are. I know it's been a little bit different with not being able to be in weight rooms and all the above. But, where there's a will, there's a way. Donovan Penix, we've got tape of him with a pipe and 2 buckets full of sand, bench pressing and squatting. If you want to get it done, you can get it done. And hopefully most of our guys, football's that important to them. And I think it is. I really like the character of this football team, but I think they really care and they want to win. We got a taste of it. We got close. And hopefully this year we can get over the hump.
Well, I'm ready to get done with these Zoom meetings and get out on the football field and watch some action. Curt, I appreciate you taking some time. I know you're busy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you do, Brent.